In the tapestry of the Bible, few figures shine as brightly as Moses. He was the chosen deliverer, the lawgiver, and the leader of Israel through the wilderness. But even heroes meet their end. What sets Moses apart is not only how he lived, but how he died. No man witnessed it, no grave marks it. Only God knows the divine farewell. As the Israelites camped on the plains of Moab, Moses stood on Mount Nebo, his staff in hand, his eyes filled with a deep longing. He was 120 years old, but his sight was sharp, his strength undiminished. From the peak of Pisgah, the Lord showed him the promised land Canaan, stretching from the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea. But the Lord said, "This is the land I swore to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I have let you see it with your eyes, but you will not cross over into it." With humility and peace, Moses nodded. He had led the people out of Egypt, crossed the Red Sea, and wandered 40 years in the wilderness. But this, his final moment, was his alone. A death without witness. Then, quietly on Mount Nebo, Moses died. There were no weeping crowds, no chants, no tomb built in his honor. The book of Deuteronomy says, "And Moses, the servant of the Lord, died there in the land of Moab, according to the word of the Lord. And he buried him in a valley in the land of Moab, opposite Beth Peor, but no man knows his burial place to this day." Deuteronomy 34:5 and 6. The mystery begins here. God himself buried Moses. Why would God hide the resting place of his most faithful servant? Some say it was to prevent the Israelites from worshiping his grave. Others believe it was to preserve the sacredness of Moses' mission. And then there are those Gnostic writings, whispering of supernatural ascent of Moses taken to a realm beyond the flesh. Legacy beyond the grave. Joshua took the mantle of leadership, but no one ever replaced Moses. His words lived on in the Torah, and his name echoed through history. The scriptures say, "Since then, no prophet has risen in Israel like Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face." Deuteronomy 34:10. Legends endured. Some claimed he was taken like Enoch or Elijah. Others believed the archangel Michael fought over his body with Satan, as mentioned in Jude 1:9. But the truth remains sealed by God. The story of Moses ends not with a funeral, but with a mystery. His legacy is not in stone, but in the hearts of all who believe. The Ascension Mystery of Moses. A battle in the unseen realm. As Moses' lifeless body lay hidden in the valley of Moab, an unseen battle erupted. The archangel Michael appeared, sent by God to guard the remains of his servant. Suddenly, the accuser, Satan, appeared, demanding the body, claiming Moses was a murderer. But Michael rebuked him, saying, "The Lord rebuke you." Jude 1:9. This moment was never seen by men, only revealed later by divine inspiration. God's purpose was to prevent any unholy veneration of the body. Moses belonged to heaven now. The lifting of the spirit. As the conflict ended, Moses' spirit was lifted. Angels surrounded him, and he passed through the veil between time and eternity. He was not taken like Elijah in a chariot, but his soul was granted peace, ascending into God's presence. Some ancient writings hint that Moses later appeared in glory, standing beside Elijah at the Mount of Transfiguration, with Jesus affirming his place in the divine narrative. Echoes in the wilderness. Back in the camp of Israel, the people mourned for 30 days. Joshua took over leadership, but the presence of Moses lingered in their memories. His staff, his words, his fire, they became part of their soul as a people. No grave was visited, no stone marked the spot, but the law he delivered lived on. A prophet's return. Centuries later, on a mountain in Galilee, Jesus was transfigured before Peter, James, and John. And there stood Moses, alive, radiant, speaking with the Messiah. He who died in secret now appeared in glory. Death could not contain him. The final journey was not to a grave, but to the presence of God, and back again in glory.